Hey guys, this is Coach Marco Robert. Thank you so much for watching my channel. Guys, today I want to talk to you about something that I get asked all the time. You know, as you may know, I have actually resided in the California Silicon Valley for about 18 years of my life. That means that for 18 years, I interacted with tons and tons and tons of tech companies. Some of them became somewhat successful. Most of them actually were total flop. And some of them, like Mark Zuckerberg that I met, I don't know how many years ago, probably like around 2007 when I met Mark, has completely exploded his business into billions and billions and billions of dollars, right? So people always ask me, Marco, how do I build a $1 billion Silicon Valley startup? Hey guys, so if you're watching this today, probably you have aspirations to actually build your own $1 billion Silicon Valley startup. Now, the first thing that we need to answer is that why is it that there's so many successful companies in Silicon Valley? Well, there's a couple of reasons for that. Number one, Silicon Valley, which is basically the valley between San Jose, San Francisco, and Oakland, right? Those three big cities actually, you have kind of an area there called the Bay Area. And when I moved there 20 years ago, the valley was actually mostly around San Jose. Today, you could literally say that the valley is the whole Bay Area, right? I think there's 9 million people living in the Bay Area. And you have startups all over the Bay Area today. And why is it that the people actually move there? What's the reason why this tiny region is such an affluent part of the technology startups of the world? Well, the number one reason is because, Northern California has some of the best universities in the world. So they actually attract some of the smartest kids in the world, right? I'm talking about Berkeley, I'm talking about UCSF. I'm talking about Stanford. Those universities attract some of the best talents in the world. So that's kind of the first step, right? You want a lot of bright people if you want to build some $1 billion startups. Number one. Now, all these kids, not only are they bright, but they have access to networks and they're networking together. And then, one bright kid might be able to do something pretty awesome, but now put 5 of them together and then boom, right? This synergistic effect can create a massive business. That's the number one reason. The number two reason is that all the money in the world is actually represented in the Silicon Valley. I don't think there is a single VC firm that does not have representation in Silicon Valley. I mean, a VC firm that invests in technology companies. Like all the VC firms in the world that actually invest in technology companies actually have offices most of them are in Menlo Park on Sand Hill Drive, right? So all the money in the world is right there. So you mix these two things together, you have extremely, extremely innovative, intelligent kids, highly educated, and then you mix that with all the money in the world. So that's pretty fantastic, right? Number three, you have like a support structure. I mean, the government is like supporting this. There's so many endeavors. There's so many entrepreneurs. There's so many former successful entrepreneurs who are actually supporting all of these kids. There's tons and tons of associations. There's incubators, okay? So the entire community is supporting this innovative approach for building, technology companies. So that's the number 3 reason. The number 4 reason is probably the most important reason. In Northern California, there's this spirit of exchange that honestly I don't think exists anywhere else in the world. You can go to Phil's coffee shop in Palo Alto and you sit down there and you'll see 2 or 3 kids sitting together. They're like 18, 19-year-old kids. And they want to change the world, and they're just like free flowing their exchange. They're like, hey dude, I invented this, what about you? And then the other guy's like, well, I was thinking about this, and then they throw everything on the table and like boom. And then you can see the creative forces at play. Nobody is hiding anything. They're all like participating together in a free flow of exchange. It's this open source culture, right? It's this idea of let's not hide anything. Let's make everything available so that all together we can figure out the best way to change the world. And it doesn't exist anywhere else. I'm from Canada. It doesn't exist in Canada. The average Canadian is more like, what do you have? What do you have? What do you have? I have this. Well, like people are not willing to share freely what they have created. Everybody's trying to protect their own little creation. Silicon Valley is a free flow of exchange. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons why people actually create these amazing startups. Now, it's one thing to create an amazing startup. It's quite another to actually turn it into $1 billion startup. So how do we do that? Well, very, very soon, you want to bring people on your board of directors, or you want to bring some founders who actually have a track record of actually, making successful companies. Why? Because when you start raising capital, one of the most important determining factor for a VC, for a venture capitalist firm to decide if they're going to invest in you or not, is your team. So if you're just a bunch of people and nobody knows about you, nobody's going to want to invest in you. But if you're 2 or 3 smart people and you've figured out something, and then you have a former VP of Twitter on your staff, or if you have somebody who helped found a startup and they exited the startup and now they're on your board of directors, that's going to give credence to your company, because the investors will say, wow, okay, we believe that if you were able to attract someone who's already really successful, well, you're probably somebody that we should look into. That's going to help you raise money. And once you raise money, then you can actually, start building your business. Right? So that's a very, very, very important factor. Make sure that you surround yourself with the right team of people. Okay? And then the last one that is not very well known, but if you really want to build $1 billion company, this is what you need to do. From the moment you start, you need to start thinking about your exit. You need to start thinking about, how am I going to actually make my $1 billion? And the kids who actually make, you've heard of these companies. The guy starts a company and within 2 or 3 years, he sells the company for $800 million. You know what they do? This doesn't happen like this. From the moment they started, this company, the founders of this company, have been in talk with big companies. So you start a business and you say, my goal is to sell this to Google. So you start connecting with Google. You start connecting with VPs at Google, and you ask questions and you say, we're kind of building this for you guys. And then what else would you need? What else would you need? And then they say, oh yeah, we'd love to have this and that. And then you're collaborating with your future acquirer. Now, because you don't know who will acquire you, but depending on your product, it could be LinkedIn, it could be Google, it could be Facebook, it could be Yahoo, it could be one of those big guys in the valley. So what you want to do is you want to connect with the people, and you want to build your business in collaboration with those people. And that's why, in the valley we have a group of people, we call them the PayPal mafia, right? The PayPal mafia is, you understand PayPal was one of the first, in this last generation, about 20 years ago, PayPal was one of the big successes in the Silicon Valley. And the guys who actually founded PayPal, Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, I'm trying to remember the other people's name, but I don't remember their names. But they actually ended up being so influential in the valley. They invested in a lot of different companies, and they sat on the boards of other companies, and they were able to raise money. So in the valley, we call them the PayPal mafia, because these guys ended up owning a lot of different companies. They became very, very influential. So if you want to build a business like that, that's what you have to do. You need to act like the PayPal mafia. PayPal would actually, a lot of the guys exited the company and then they started to work for Google. And then some of the guys exited the company and then they started to work for Facebook. And now they have this network of people and they all support one another. So if you get inside of that network and then you want to sell your business, boom. Because somebody at Facebook who can actually speak to the person who does all the acquisitions at Facebook, and boom, you sell your business for, $500 million, $1 billion or more. That is one of the biggest secrets in the Valley. You need to build your network working directly with the people you want to acquire you. And that's how you're going to be able to sell your business really fast. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this. This is how to make $1 billion in the Silicon Valley. If you enjoyed this, hit the like button. Make sure you comment below. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, guys. I'm going to share a lot of information like you. This is from the trenches. Okay, I have been helping business owners for the last 20 years. I'm going to tell you all the secrets, everything behind the curtain. Okay, you enjoy this, and make sure you watch this next video that's about to start right now. This is Coach Marco Robert. I'll see you next time. Take care.
Guys, this is Coach Marco Robert. Remember, if you keep on doing what you've always done, you're going to keep on getting what you've always gotten. Click on the next videos and continue your education.